Okay, back on January 10th, I did a shop update, and I had talked about making some shims for the haul truck, the rear axle of the haul truck. Okay, welcome to the shop update for January 21st. I'm started talking about this 1-inch plate steel that I going to be using for the shim. Well, things have changed on the haul truck and regarding that shim, and I'm probably not going to be using that shim. But I'm going to show it to you anyways because there was a little bit of a blooper, let's call it, in flame cutting or torch cutting that plate steel. And I'll explain that to you, but I wanted to show you what happens when you kind of don't pay attention. What I had laying around the shop is a piece of 1-inch plate steel, 1 inch thick. So what I'm gonna do, as you can see, this side actually, you might not be able to see it, but this side was actually flame cut. This side was torch cut, just hacked off. So what I'm gonna do is this is one of the old shims. What I'm gonna do is just cut a slab off of this and then cut out two pieces for it. So I will leave this side intact like this, just clean it up with grinders and stuff. What I'll do is I'll torch cut this thing off, and then I'll torch cut it off out farther so that I can cut each side off with a bandsaw, get away from them flame cuts, because flame cuts are hard to machine. Not that I'm going to be machining the sides, but I might. When I drill these holes, I don't want to get into heated material. Okay, so here is that 1-inch plate that I was talking about that I'm going to use for the shim stock on the rear axle of the haul truck. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little heat into this thing first, and then what I'll do is I'll bring you back and show you me cutting this thing. Now I've got my straight edge on here, my cutting straight edge that I built. What it does is just a guide to run the torch head along. But let me bring you back when I start the cutting process, and I'll show you that. And here we go with the cut. Okay, it's part of a little shop update. Yesterday I showed you torch cutting that 1-inch plate. Well, I wasn't really getting a good cut, and you know, sometimes I just kind of think it's me. You know, it's me not doing it right, or it's just a bad day, or whatever. In reality, what it was is the oxygen was really low on the tank. So I've got the tank over there by the door. What I'm going to do is throw it in the truck, go out and get a new oxygen tank, and come back. I've got to finish up that 1-inch plate a little bit. Just there's a couple of places where it didn't blow through, and that's the issue with it. You know, I had a good flame on it, a good cutting flame, but there wasn't enough oxygen to blow that metal out through. So I've got to do that. I just wanted to kind of let you know that. There's one of the cuts on the Kalamazoo bandsaw. I don't have the feed set real high, so it could take a while. Okay, let's switch topics a little bit here. I had to do some work on the trailer, so let me show you some brief clips of that. And I will get back to those pieces that I had cut for the shims at a later time here. As part of a shop update, this is Friday afternoon. I just pulled the trailer into the shop, into the front of the shop. But the reason why I did it is I'm having problems with a ground fault on the brakes, and I want to get that resolved. I have a haul to make. I've got to pick up a load Monday here in Buffalo and then take it down to New Jersey on Tuesday. So I wanted to get this issue with the brakes, or try to get the brakes resolved. I'm not really sure what it is. I've had issues with this emergency brake pin showing up as a ground fault on the brakes, but I'm not sure that that's it. I think there's something else going on. The thing comes and goes on my brake controller as I hit bumps, but the longer that I drive, I can't tell you. Well, I was going to say the longer I drive, the more it stays on, the ground fault stays on, but that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes it'll be on for hours, and then all of a sudden I'll hit a bump and it'll go off, and it'll stay off for a long period of time and then come back on again. When I say a long period of time, it could be hours that it stays off. My guess is a wire has shorted out someplace, but I want to get under it, take a look at the brakes, the wires that are going into the brakes themselves, and just take a general overview of it, and then start working on it. My grandson's pretty good at electrical, so he's going to come in here and give me a hand. I'm probably going to be doing some on it before he comes in here and gives me a hand. He's thinking Sunday, but I might come back in here tomorrow, Saturday, and work on it some. See if I can find it. The first thing I'm going to do is pull that control box apart where the 7-way cord goes into it. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that. Yeah, this control box up in here. I'm going to pull that apart and see if there's anything in there. I got to get a wiring diagram of where the brake is on the cable anyway, so I'll bring it back. Okay, it's Sunday morning. What we're doing is trying to figure out what the issue with the wiring on the trailer is, and what we found, if I didn't explain to you before what the issue was, I'm having a problem with the electric brakes on the trailer. And what it is I'm getting a code that's telling me that there is a short or a ground fault with no brakes. So what I did is I've checked a lot of things. One of the issues that I thought might be the emergency brake thing, because I had a problem with this thing before. It turned out not to be that. What we ended up doing, and when I say we, I've got my grandson here helping me, because you have to keep running back and forth to the truck to see if you get this thing to clear or not. What we figured it out, there was two things. The wires that go to the rear axle were broke off. Probably hit a piece of road debris or something and it broke that off. Maybe one of them pieces of tire, or some people call them gators. That was broke. So we kind of thought that was the issue to begin with, so we reconnected it and I still had an issue. So then I was thinking it's the brake wire that runs from the back to from the front to the back. I'm sorry. So what we did is took a piece of wire, a new piece of wire, and connected that and ran it back there, and that didn't resolve the issue. So what we did is took that new piece of wire and connected it to the rear brakes that were disconnected to begin with, and it worked. So then what we did is disconnected the temporary wire and connected the permanent wire that runs through the tube steel down the side of the trailer and comes out, and connected that to the rear brakes, and that worked. So then, we've determined it's a problem in the front axle brakes. So we connected the passenger side brake up to it, and I got a fault. Connected the driver's side up to it with disconnecting the passenger side, and that worked. So now we know that it's somewhere either in the brake on the other side, or what we're going to do is try and jumper a new wire from one side to the other side to see if it's a wire that crosses inside of the axle itself that's causing a fault. But I'll bring you back when we find out and let you know. So I'm back on the trailer again. What we did was determined that the issue was in the front axle, and what did I get? I got driver's side on the front axle to work, but I can't get the passenger side on the front axle to work. So what we did is I just left the front axle disconnected because I didn't want just one wheel on the front axle to be working. It could throw the braking off or have a tendency of pulling the trailer one way or the other depending on the braking. So I left the front axle off, and I've got the rear axle working. So what we're gonna do is I've got a haul to make from Buffalo. Well, I'm going down this afternoon. This is on a Monday. I'm going down this afternoon, pick up the load, and I've got to take it down to New Jersey tomorrow morning. So pick up the load this afternoon. I'm going to leave early in the morning, go down to New Jersey, plan on being down there around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning so that I can get back early. What I'm going to do is wash the trailer off. It's kind of, again, got this salt on it all over the place from notorious road salt. Even though we really haven't had that much snow recently, they still go out and salt the shit out of the roads. Gotta, use up that allotment so that their budget doesn't get cut next year. Anyways, what I'm gonna do is wash it off here in the shop, and I'm gonna pull it outside. I got to get my truck in, get the weight bracket off. Then I'll hook it up, go down this afternoon or earlier this morning, and pick up the load, bring it back, and then again I'm gonna leave early in the morning. So what we'll probably end up doing is bring the trailer back in the shop. I kind of went on this trailer manufacturer's website, and they sell brakes for this thing. I want to get new brakes for it, but you really kind of got to get underneath it or get a wheel off to determine exactly what size the brakes are it's it's kind of sketchy on the website. You know what I mean? They don't give you a lot of information. They tell you that it's for a certain axle. Now I think they're 7,000 pound Dexter axles, but I want to be double sure before I go ordering parts from Texas, because they're kind of expensive. The brake assembly for each wheel on this trailer is like $100, so I don't want to go out and spend, well, it's a little over $100 actually, and then you got shipping on top of it, so I don't want to go out and spend probably around $500 on brakes that don't fit. So I just want to be double sure before I order it. Or there is a place locally that I might be able to get them through from that. They do larger trailers, like semi-trailers, but they have a lot of stuff at that thing or that place, and they might be able to order them also. So I'm gonna double check there before I go and order them online, just so that, you know, kind of support local business if I can. Okay, I'm over here to the rear new axle, and I'm just showing you this, and the reason will be explained in the next clip. I told you when I was talking about the trailer that I had a trip to make to New Jersey. It was just some piping material, the bollard material. I'm not going to show you the trailer loaded. I'm just going to show you a brief clip of when I was on the road on the way back and me talking about it. And then I will bring you back. I made another haul trip down to Bath, New York, but I will bring you back for an insert on that and kind of explain to you why I'm showing you the axle also. Okay, I'm on the way back home right now. I'm on Route 380. It's a goes between 80 and cuts up and hits 81. Just south of Binghamton. When I say just south, it's probably like 20 miles south of Binghamton. But anyways, what I did is had to get down to New Jersey, New Brunswick, New Jersey, the New Brunswick Mall, and drop off more pipe for bollards for those charging stations. But I didn't show any of it. I didn't show the load. You've seen the load before on my trailer. The same thing, 6-inch Schedule 40 galvanized pipe. But anyways, on the way back right now, kind of a, well, it was sunny in New Jersey, really sunny. Kind of just high overcast here. No, I don't think there's any threat of snow or anything. It's kind of cold, 22 degrees now. It's probably about, I'm not really sure, probably going on 10 o'clock in the morning. Got 300 miles to go before I get home. But I'll bring you back if anything eventful happens. So that was it for the New Jersey trip. I, again, didn't show any of that. So I delivered that on a Tuesday. What I did is I showed you the thing about the trailer being in the shop and the brakes and getting that temporarily fixed. That was on a Sunday that I did that. What I did is cleaned that trailer up, greased it and everything. On Monday morning, went down and picked up the material that had to go to New Jersey on Monday afternoon, delivered it to New Jersey early Tuesday morning, then came back and on Wednesday picked up material that had to go to Bath, New York. which is about 120 miles away from me. So I took a load of material. It was piping, tube steel, square tube steel, angle iron, and some plates, some plate steel, down to a big dairy farm in Bath, New York, and delivered it. Now, I did not shoot any video of the load. I did not shoot any video of the farm. It was chaos again on getting it unloaded. There was a lot of people that worked at that farm, and people didn't know about it. They had to find a forklift truck. It was really cold and kind of chaotic. But on the way back, I did shoot a photo. I'll shoot it or show it to you over here, a pick and pick. What it is on the way back, I came up through Ellicottville, New York, and Ellicottville has a big ski resort there, Holiday Valley. They have a lot of slopes there. And you can see that hill right in front of me, and it looks like cloud cover on the right-hand side of it as you're looking at it. It's not cloud cover, it's actually them making snow. And it creates what is, from a distance, looks like a huge cloud when they're making it. But it's up there again, and you can see that what appears to be the cloud in front of the hill, and it's not a cloud, it's them making snow. But anyways, it was an uneventful trip. I got it unloaded. And okay, so I told you that in previous clips that I would tell you why I was over to the axle. I put one of the rims on the axle just so I could get a measurement from basically the side of the rim or the side of the tire. The tire is going to stick out a little bit more than the rim does, actually, at its widest point. But get a measurement from where the side of the spring housing is going to be to the side of the rim or tire, so that I know how much clearance I have in there. So when I put this air suspension on the rear of the truck, I will know how much distance I have and how much I'm going to have to offset it, and I am going to have to offset it because there isn't enough distance in there. Basically, an air suspension or truck air suspension airbag is anywhere between 8 and 10 inches in diameter. So as you can probably see, that I don't have 4 to 5 inches of room, and that would be a minimum, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even consider going that close. It's got to be, it would have to be a good probably foot over to center, which would give me at least 6-7 inches of clearance between the bag and the tire. I'll bring you back for some more stuff that I'm doing, and about that shim material that I had cut out for putting in here if I was going to leave the springs on, which I'm not anymore. It's going to be air suspension. So as part of a shop update, I'm over here at the welding bench, and this was going to be the shim for the rear axle on the Ford haul truck, and I was doing a video on it, and I probably will show part of that video, but it looks like this idea is going to be scrapped in lieu of something else. And if you want to watch chapter 40 of the Ford haul truck series, you'll know what I'm talking about, what I'm going to be doing with the rear axle. But I probably will show you cutting that bandsaw work and stuff like that, even though it'll probably, these pieces will go in the drop bin and they won't be able to be used again. well, for that. They won't be used for that, but they'll go in the drop bin and probably be used for something else in the long run. What I have here is 2 pieces of channel iron. It's 5" by 1.5" channel iron, and what I'm going to do is make fork extensions out of them, and I will show that to you. I needed fork extensions to be able to pick up this sleeper, to get under the sleeper, and I ended up having to borrow them from a guy that I know. So I was looking at some. They want like $300-400 for these things, and they're not 6 feet long. I was able to pick up this channel iron. Now you probably wouldn't be able to get this deal, but I got this channel iron, 2 pieces of 5 by 1.5", 6 feet long, for $75. But anyways, so that's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is, this will be the nose, or the curved part that goes into towards the front. I'll taper down or put like a little curve on it, and in the back, what I will do is notch this out, and then not this piece, but there will be a band that goes around the back side of it to keep it onto the forks of the forklift truck. So forklift truck is over here, so they slide over it, and what happens is that notch will be in here, and this band will go around that piece and hold it onto the forks. So it extends those forks out. I think those things are 4 feet. Maybe they're 3/6, but 4 feet. But the ones I'm going to have are 6 feet long. And use them for a lot of things. My main purpose is to get that sleeper up in the air. I need to get that sleeper up in the air so that I can get underneath it. See what the front mounting system is for the how I mount the front on the frame rails, and I want to get in under it and see what the connections are for the heater and stuff. So fork extensions coming up in a shop update. Probably not this shop update, but will be coming up in a shop update.